Hi. All right, I'm live. There's a little bit of a delay. I don't know why. Okay. Did that work? That
Finally.
worked.
No.
Okay, hold on. I'm hearing echo, which I don't like.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you
Okay,
perfect.
good. I'm going to try to put this back on. Technical difficulties. I don't want to hear
No
two of me.
problem.
That would
Problem.
better?
Great. So it's
Yeah.
nice having you here. Actually, we're trying it the first time out. Never been live with someone.
I
So
haven't either. Not here, and there is an echo, but whatever.
you still have an echo? Me too,
Yeah.
actually, but I try to not think about it.
It's like a delay.
Yes, me too. But
Okay,
whatever.
TikTok, you're failing.
I think there's always some
I know
obstacles to go over, no?
I
So
know, but it's gonna throw me off. I have to take things out. I can't talk. Like, I don't know how the sound's gonna come in. Sorry, but
no, I can
that's
still
just
hear you. It's good.
yeah. But do you still have an echo? I don't have an
I
echo anymore
myself have an echo here, yeah,
yeah, because of
because I
the
have the
headphones.
yeah.
Anyway, so we're here.
So
So let's see
wonderful.
who hops on. I know. All
So
right.
tell
Well,
me,
how about you lead? You lead.
yeah, okay. First of all, for our listeners, do you have an echo? Listening to this would be good to know.
Let's see if anyone says anything.
Let's see. Do you guys have
No
an
echo.
echo?
No. She said no.
Okay.
That's good. I think it really has to do with the pods,
You think so? Okay.
or maybe it's like I don't know, interference. Yeah, no echo.
But you, when
I will
you
try.
don't have it, do you have an echo where you are?
No, not with just the iPad direct
Okay.
sound. No, but when I had
Mm,
this in, I did. So I don't know if it's an
okay.
Apple interference or a TikTok interference. So we let it be. Yeah, I don't know if
Let's
you can
see.
talk because I couldn't do it. I'm like, I can't talk to him like this. I'm like, this is gonna drive me crazy.
Now is it better?
Nobody wants to hear themselves. Yeah, exactly. It's this.
Is it better now?
Yeah, I don't have an echo. Do you have an echo with
No.
your laptop? Yeah. So
No, it's better now. It's good.
yeah.
It's
So we
better
do
without
this.
those. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Ditch it. Ditch it. Okay.
So,
Thanks everyone for joining. We keep getting people
yeah,
popping on. So welcome.
that's great. That's wonderful. So, I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch our podcast. I uploaded on YouTube. So,
So did I.
we, we
So
we were discussing about different topics, and yeah, I mean, we had so much to talk about. It was very interesting. And
yes, a lot.
what was your thoughts? What were your thoughts? Did you hear it again? Did you go through it?
I didn't listen to all of it. I have to say we discussed so much. So to be honest, but the one thing I at the end of the day, I think that's why you and I decided to do this was because ultimately the reason we connected was because of our awakening process and how
Exactly.
you're on this journey in your way and I'm on this journey in my way, and there's so many discrepancies. Like so many people have their own interpretation of how they've come to their spiritual growth and this process. And I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of the details are not discussed.
No.
So I believe that's why you and I thought it would be a good idea to start initially with discussing awakening, what that entails, how that feels, what happens, and
Yep.
just to share it because it might help
Yes.
help people. guide.
Yeah, I think the best would be to share the Kundalini rising. The what you mentioned.
Activation.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's very interesting. By the way, I ordered the book. I'm still waiting to receive it,
Oh,
so
okay,
I'm
good.
looking forward to it.
So first, let me introduce myself because you all
Yeah.
know they're familiar with you. They're not
Yes.
familiar with me. Um,
Exactly.
First of all, so you found me on, so Adrian found me on Kelly Kalodny's live. I'm
Yep.
an intuitive. I had my Kundalini awakening in 2014. I was activated. I met my twin flame. I literally had a spontaneous awakening. My Kundalini was activated, and from there I started my spiritual journey. It was quite violent. It was quite crazy. It was a roller coaster. And then from there, I, studied all these different modalities. I completely changed my life, 1,000%. And then from there, I started studying different modalities of spirituality and healing. Like I'm a Reiki healer. I'm a feng shui master. I'm an interior designer by trade, so I studied feng shui. And I'm a tarot reader, and obviously an intuitive. So I download messages. I'm a channel. But the interesting thing is, going back to basics, the first thing that initially happens is the awakening process. So Adrian and I wanted to kind of go to the core of what this was. And the Kundalini
Exactly.
activation is, for me, it was spontaneous. I know that there are people that work towards activating their Kundalini. There's Kundalini breath work, there's Kundalini yoga, and all these things. For me, it was literally like a jolt of lightning, like boom, and what that means. And what came up in our podcast session last time was this book that, of course, there are no accidents. So I don't even remember how I found this book. I think I was literally in the bookstore just going through the spirituality section, and it just caught my eye.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a red bound book, so the little red stands out. And that's your roots, because the Kundalini is actually activated. It lays dormant in your coccyx, which is in your root chakra. Yeah. Your coccyx is where it's the spiral, it's the Fibonacci. So whenever two people conceive, literally, the initial conception of that cell is in a spiral form. And the Kundalini is that energy. It's like an atomic bomb that sits at the base of your spine, okay? And then you grow from there, and then all the atoms then multiply, and then literally you have a fetus, and blah blah blah, baby is born. So when we are born, that is within all of us, dormant, this energy. So to have an awakening, whether you actively are trying to activate it, or it happens spontaneously, that energy, that source, that atomic bomb that's sitting at the base of your spine is essentially blows up. So in this book, Kundalini Rising, it kind of breaks down. It really, when I read it, when I got the book, I couldn't believe, because when you have this awakening, it is so, first of all, people don't talk about it, especially back then. It was like, I didn't even know what the word Kundalini was. I didn't know what a twin flame was. I didn't know, anything. So this book really is a really good guide. And of course, we all have our own experience. Like yours was different, mine is different. We all have our own path. But it would be a good place for people to start if they're curious about this process and what it entails and what happens to you. And then, of course, we're going to discuss our experiences and if it can help them, because, or whoever's following and watching, because ultimately it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for you, it was very intense because it happened all at once. No, for me, it happened gradually. So for me, like it took a while. I told you like it took me a month, but I think it took even longer, because if I look at it more, like it took me maybe more than a year for sure to really be awakened.
And it was probably like a slow, gradual thing, which is probably kind of nicer and easier. You probably grew into it and weren't even maybe aware initially what was happening to you.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how I felt in the beginning.
Right? It was like a slow gradation of your intuition being,
Yeah, exactly. It felt like there is something out there, but I'm not sure how I can relate to that, you know. So
Yeah. Did you
from
feel the physical things that we were discussing? Like, because to compare and contrast, like, did you feel your body change, or like the electricity that I was mentioning, that, you know, the
the,
sensations, the physical sensations?
yes, I felt the physical, like I'm an empath like you are, so I feel everything more intense, you know, and I feel the energy of others. So that's what I realized. I feel it more intense, you know. I feel this. I can feel others more intense than before I was awakened. So
Yeah, of course.
that's how I can feel it. Do you have the
Yeah.
same? Do you have the same?
I absolutely, which is why I'm so careful what I allow in my space. But what I felt more than anything, for me initially, like with the spot, the reason I knew something had happened to me, the
Yeah.
reason I knew that like something really happened to me, was because I would have pain, like shooting electric currents in my body.
Well. Okay.
Literally, like I would get jolted, especially at night when, for all the women that have had babies that have been pregnant. Like, so I understand men won't understand this. You feel more when the baby is in your stomach when you're laying at night and you're not moving, because you're
Mm-hmm.
not moving, and then the baby would move. So the
Yeah.
more I would be still during this awakening process, during the kundalini activation, the more my muscles would like jerk, like, because what's happening is, so when your kundalini is activated, it's at the base
Mm-hmm.
of your spine, and
Yeah.
literally that's why it's called the serpent. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's called the serpent because it literally slithers up your spine,
Yeah.
then tapping into all your chakra points. So it starts at your root chakra, goes to your sacral, goes to your solar plexus, goes into your heart, goes into your throat, goes into your third eye, and then it crowns.
Yeah.
This can be as fast as immediate, which I got goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even imagine how painful that must be to have it
Yeah.
immediately crown. My crowning took, so that activation, that's slow, which is why I got the jolts, because your body, your DNA is shifting. Your
Yeah.
body is purging all of
Yeah.
this density. This 3D density is being
Mm-hmm.
purged. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's reopening and realigning all your chakra points. Essentially, it's
Yeah.
like plumbing, and it's like jolting it with thousands of pounds of water pressure, right, going straight
Mm-hmm.
through, if you can ever like think of it that way.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
took about maybe 2 months. I don't even think that long, and
Mm-hmm.
I was very disciplined at the time. I
Mm-hmm.
started regularly meditating, and not
Okay.
long, like 15 minutes. You don't even need to. But I was very aware that the more still I was,
Mm-hmm.
the less I was resisting. And
Yeah.
in the resistance is where it's painful. Like it literally is. It hurts. I can't
Mm-hmm.
explain the hurt. Like and maybe it's more intense for others, but for me it was like, could you imagine electricity not hurting?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
It is that. It's like intense. So right before I crowned, I had one day that I woke, and in the midst of all this, like I'm talking, nothing about your life is the same. I told my ex-husband at the time I'm leaving him. I was married for 14 years. We had a child together. We have a child together. She's now 15. I lived in a beautiful life, like beautiful home. Like anyone that would look at my life from the outside would say, "Is this girl insane? Who does this?" But you are not the same person. There is nothing about your life that is the same. You stop eating certain things. You stop drinking. Like everything changes. Your DNA is changing. How you
Mm-hmm.
think is changing. How
Yeah.
you are. How you relate. So,
Yeah.
but the crowning process, by the time it got to by the time I believe it got to my throat chakra, it happened in one day for me, maybe like 8 hours.
Okay.
I thought my brain was gonna blow up. I thought my head was gonna blow up. Like I had never
Wow.
had migraines, so I didn't
Okay.
know. And I just thought I was so stressed that I'm having a very bad day and I'm having migraines, not realizing my kundalini is trying to crown. Now, mind you, I'm
Yeah.
learning all of this. I'm a novice. I'm as rookie as you get,
Mm-hmm.
clueless. But
Yeah.
it was my kundalini crowning.
Mm-hmm.
soon as I surrendered, I laid down. I literally felt heat, like gel. If there was like hot gel that could just like slither down and
Wow.
cover my head, immediately the pain stopped. So it went through that heat, like literally heat sensation came down, and my crown chakra was open. And at that point, you're just like, you are tapped into the universe, and that is it. You channel. You become like a conduit. You're like a plug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's wild.
That was quite a ride, huh? Very intense.
It was a ride. It was like I might as well have been on like high. I don't even remember. But the pain stopped. Then the jerking stops because everything is then balanced. So if anyone is going through this, I really, really suggest not resisting as best you can physically, because we tend to like it. Like I said, it's painful, and so you're trying to be like holding on.
Yeah.
Allow it to go through. The faster it goes through, the easier. It's like ripping a Band-Aid off, you know, like let's get it over with.
It's like you're trying to avoid or block it, you know. It was meant for you to go through, and if you block it, it gets even worse, no? You block the
it's like it's like resistance.
The energy. You block the energy.
It's like the river, you know how difficult it is to float down a river versus paddle against the river. Just allow it to take you. And in the midst of this, I also became a Reiki practitioner and then a Reiki master. So that helped me. Like I was, you know, so we all have our thing. But just know, I want everybody who's following right now to understand, like this, you're not alone. If you're in the process or just curious, get that book.
Yeah.
And in one of the pages, I think I told you, page 250 something, it explains exactly the sensation of when it crowns and what it feels like.
It's called Kundalini Rising, the book. It's a red book, and the author. Exactly, I forgot the author, the name. It's a little bit difficult.
I don't know the author either.
But anyway, it's called Kundalini Rising. You can find it on Amazon or just Google it.
I'm sure it's on Kindle or whatever. I don't even know. I bought it years ago, so it's in my house somewhere.
Yeah. I have a question. I have a question here. Tepuka is asking, can you see spirits?
So in my awakened state, no. When I'm in sleep state, I have so much activity in the astral.
Okay.
So it's interesting. I feel them. I've had, I don't want to say no. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. What I've realized is I set boundaries for myself because it can get overwhelming. But I've had a few places where I've walked into vortex points and like literally doorways. So one of them is at the Parker Hotel in Palm Springs. One of them was at the Huston Hotel in New York City. I mean, I'll tell you like exactly where they are.
Yeah.
And I will, and like more than anything, I will feel them. They'll try to touch me. They'll be like, "Oh my God, she knows me. She knows I'm here." So they will try. I will feel them touching me.
Okay.
And they will be like in my face right here talking to me, but they're not like full form like you and me. I'll see them in like I can see through them, like you know how like a hologram is? It's literally like shapes and hologram like.
Okay.
Like it sounds awful, but what happened in Florida when that building collapsed? This was like this last month, like 4 weeks ago, some condos.
Yeah.
Next night, a group, like literally, they all came.
Really?
They were in my bedroom.
Really, from there, from the
those people that passed.
Yeah.
Came, and I knew immediately. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know until in the morning. I said, oh, they were them, and they were all talking to me at the same time because they don't know what's happened. There's like the in between can be chaotic when it's very abrupt.
Yeah.
And I'm not so much immediate. It's funny, like one of my medium friends, I have a very good friend of mine, which actually I'm going to do a live with her.
Okay.
Lisa, she swears that I'm a medium, but I try not to. Sometimes I don't want to tap in. I think it's like there's so much we can take. Like we all have, like I'm more clairsentient, like immediately I'll feel, I'll channel, I'll know, clairaudient, clear, you know, we all have our, I call like superheroes have, you know, their, you know how superheroes have their super strength?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We all are
It's
different. So we all have, however we tap in our own way that we're just naturally more good at, or where we
yeah,
feel more comfortable,
yeah,
right?
yeah. We all have our gifts actually. You know, there are
Yes.
people who are more
Yeah.
clairvoyant. There are others who are more
Clairaudient,
yeah, exactly. So
clairsentient. There's all the different clairs.
yeah,
Some people
exactly.
channel. I get a
Yeah,
lot of downloads in my sleep. Like I will, I have literally people come visit me, and I get it. So it sounds crazy. Like I will
yeah.
have just people visit me and tell me what they need to tell me, so that I share it to the person that I know. It's like,
Okay.
do you understand? In the astral, and these are people that are not past. These are living people. Their souls will come
Yeah.
and share in that.
So,
That's why, you know, when we're all connected, it's like you can meet anyone in the astral
yeah.
anytime.
Yeah.
It's like a superhighway.
How
And by
can
the way, the astral,
how
there's
can
no
you do that?
hiding in the
Mm.
astral.
When
Sorry.
you're sleeping and dreaming? Is it the same? No, at the end, is it the
Dreams
same
are
thing?
different. Dreams are different. You will know when it's a dream. When you're meeting someone in the astral, you are meeting them. It's like you and I having a meeting. Like I will
Yeah.
know Adrian came to me. Okay? When I dream about you, I will know that was a dream. It's a very
Mm-hmm.
different sensation.
Yeah.
There's a presence to meeting someone in the astral. It's like the 0 point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know if you've ever, when you get to zero, like in meditation, you can get to 0 point energy. In that, in that interim, you can meet anybody. So,
Okay.
for example, and whoever you meet, they're not necessarily private meetings. It's like the astral is a open field.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how else to explain it.
It's like when you when you project yourself, your spirit, into another
Yes.
dimension. No, you're in another dimension actually. That's how we
Mm-hmm.
can best explain it.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually.
Yeah. You're
So
just in a different realm.
yeah,
You're just in a different realm.
that's how
Um,
I feel. That's actually how I feel right now when I see what's happening. Like I feel like I'm in another realm. To be honest, it's like for me it has shifted a lot since I awakened. You know, and
of course.
it all looks different for me now. So
And time bends. This is the thing. Time isn't linear. Like we have this idea, like today, tomorrow, like every day, it's like this line, right? And
yeah,
then like we look at the week, like you look at a calendar, and it's like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and it's straight line. There's no such thing like time bends, which is
yeah. I mean,
why,
from
you know, like
from the spiritual side, there is no time actually.
it's all
So
now. Like
yeah,
I'll ask sometimes, like before I go to bed, and if anyone ever wants to know some information, if you really allow, if you really open yourself up, and are not afraid, and when I say afraid, there's a lot of fear based. Like my best friend, her kundalini, for example, her kundalini's been activated. She went and saw a shaman that I sent her to for
hmm,
clearing and whatever, and I really believe that that activated her kundalini, right?
yeah,
But she's also a channel that she's fought all her life. Like we talk about it all the time. Um, and she's like, oh no, she's like, when I tell her certain things that I've experienced or seen or what's happening, and she's like, oh my God, I would freak out. Like when I told her, like the other day, there was a man at the foot of my bed telling me about, and telling me about my legs. Like I run a lot, I exercise, so I was having pain, you know, like pain, like my calves were sore, and it wasn't healing. And he
okay,
literally came. He was just a spirit. You came, and he was explaining to me what I can do to help with my legs and my, you know, my the tightness in my thighs and my calves. And I was like, okay, but it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Like you're talking to me now. I need to sleep, right?
yeah,
And when I
yeah,
told her this, she's like, oh my God, are you kidding me? That would freak me out. And I'm like, no, they come all the time. They're everywhere,
yeah.
right? So she
I,
resists. But if you
mm,
don't resist, you can get that information. Like you can just go to bed and ask, okay, can you please help me with this? And the information will come to you.
Yeah.
However, which way it's easy.
I have another question actually here. Does it mean something that I hear a high pitch ringing on my ear, on my right ear quite often?
That's divine. So the
Yeah,
right ear
exactly.
is divine. That's hearing from God or source. I mean, God, whatever that is, universe, however you guys want to, that's your divine tapping in. That's a frequency you're picking up. You are picking up a different frequency in a different dimension. It's just energy that's flowing through. If you pay attention and ask, the more you open your ear, the more you will hear.
Yeah.
So
the more connected you are, no? I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time. Sometimes I'll get popping. At one time I was with my friend and literally I got wind, like something blew in my ear. I'm inside a house. Like it's not like I'm out in nature and my body didn't blow. They blew in my ear. The sound came through and they telepathically told me what I needed to know. They didn't auditorily tell me what I needed to know. They telepathically told me what I needed to know. And understand in that realm, when I have a lot of people that I meet in the astral, we don't speak. It's telepathy. That's why if you're really connected to someone, you don't need to speak. You can telepathically send a message.
Like sometimes when you think about somebody and then suddenly your phone rings or you get a message.
Exactly. And you know how you found me on Kelly Kolodny's live, right? So Kelly is trying to get people to react. We're trying to reactivate the grid work. And that's what, I don't know if any of you follow her, but she, that's her mission. Reactivating the grid work means it's from Lemurian times and Atlantis and whatnot. That grid that was all around, literally connecting all of us, died. It literally, the switch went off. So now we're trying to reactivate it. The more active it is, we don't even need to speak. We don't even need to call. We can telepathically send information anywhere. And the more, and through this awakening process, the more and more and more and more humans are now, this is the time of the awakening, this is it. Everyone is, we're on a different frequency. Like there's no going back, baby.
Yeah, I'm reading this book of Dolores Cannon now. It's called Convoluted Universe, I think, something like that. And she was talking about Atlantis, and that all of this what's happening now, it already happened back then. So it's all happening again, actually.
Cycle. We're in a cycle.
Yeah.
Because nothing's linear. Nothing's straight. It's all cyclical. Again, the Fibonacci spiral. It's like, there's nothing straight in nature. If you notice what's straight in nature, everything like atoms are round. Everything is organically circular. Trees, the barks of trees, like everything has a flowing pattern, right? If you just think of it that way, nature is echoing to us how energy is.
Yeah, true.
And so if we really pay attention, so that's why the more connected, like I'm very much into nature. I love the mountains. I love the beach. I need to be in nature. Every day of my life, I need it to be fundamentally a part of it. I do. Feel more at home in nature. I'm a city girl. I lived in LA all my life, right? I love the city. Like I love restaurants and museums and all that stuff, right? But then when I'm in nature, I'm like, right?
For me, the same, because we are empaths, we need a balance. That's why you see all of my videos on TikTok, they're all in the forest. That's why. Beautiful. That's where I connect, actually. And everybody thinks, I don't have a home. Yes, I have a home. But
yeah, I have. You're funny.
I don't live in the forest, but I'm just actually connecting, and being balanced.
Yeah, like nature. I go hiking every day. Like I was telling you, I run in the mountains. I can't be in the city and work out. Like I don't like to be in a gym. It's not my thing. I need to be in nature or at the beach. And that's where it's like, that's therapy. So the more connected you are, When left ear rings, someone just said. So, okay, right ear. This is, I don't know if I believe this. Okay, I'm going to tell you. So, right ear, they say, is divine. Left ear is ego. I don't know if I believe that. It's feminine, masculine. So, your
Okay.
right is your masculine, your left is your feminine. So, it could be masculine energy. Ultimately, the information is going to come. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
But I also
yeah.
get a question. How do you get a stronger connection? Like, do you have a way to do that? Like, if you want to strengthen the connection, or
Stronger connection just to source.
yes.
Well, the more aligned you are, the more open you are. I'm talking like, but not everyone wants to be as open as I, and you don't have to be. But like for me, I have no boundaries. I'm okay, like because nothing can ever happen to me. I'm so
Yeah.
protected, right? Because I'm very
Yeah.
aware. I'm very in tune with my body, and energies from the other side can't hurt you. This whole thing about like, like demons and da da da. I mean, they can infiltrate your energy, but you set boundaries, and there
Yeah.
are universal laws. Okay, so you can very well say, "Go away," like out. You're done. But yeah, it's real. Like if you're uncomfortable in some energy and you literally shun them away, and
Yeah.
I'll quickly say that story that happened at the Parker Hotel in Palm Springs. So, but the more open you are, the more aligned you are. It's essential for your alignment. That's why we clear chakra. When I do Reiki, for example, when I do distance Reiki healing, or even in person though, but before I send the Reiki, I do a quick meditation with my client where I literally just align their chakras, and it's a visual thing. You just need to activate your visually what you see, and that takes about 5 minutes, and then I send the Reiki. So if you're meditating, and you don't have to sit and do this to meditate, guys. I know a lot of people ask me that all the time. You can have mobile meditation. You can be swimming and you can be meditating, because it's just about shutting down your brain, the monkey mind. And any thoughts that go through, you just go back to the breath, go back to the breath, because you can be walking. It's like when you're driving in the car and you're driving and you say, how did I get here? Well, you were in meditative state. That's how you got there. Your body was in autopilot, and you checked out of your monkey mind. Your ego mind stopped.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
By the way, I forgot to mention, you're a Reiki master, you're an intuitive tarot reader, you are a Feng Shui, how you call that, master?
Practitioner,
No?
yeah.
Practitioner,
Practitioner, yeah.
And you mentioned, sorry,
I'm
intuitive
an
tarot
interior
reader.
designer. That's how
Yeah,
that's how
interior
I came
designer.
away.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Exactly.
my trade is interior design, but now I'm at the point where I've just shifted. I'll still take design projects as whatever, but I've married that with feng shui. So for me, it's like that's what I want to focus on, and I can very easily. So if you live in LA, like I can obviously provide that service in person, but we can remotely do it because we live in this world now where you just follow me on FaceTime and you show me around your house, and we can remotely feng shui your home.
So it plays a major role where you sleep, no? Where your bed is,
okay, this is my practice. My feng shui practice is black hat. Tibetan black hat feng shui is what I've studied. It's not a compass school. So Tibetan black hat feng shui is the rebel feng shui, which makes perfect sense for me because I don't follow rules. It's all based on magic. So what they've done is taken the different modalities of feng shui and married them to create a whole new modality.
Yeah.
And it is very much exactly where you sleep, but it's about creating harmony in your space. It all has to do with activating. They're the guas, the areas in the home. Okay, so when you walk into a space, if the door is centered in the home, that's your career. Okay, to the left it'll be friends and family. Then to the right it's helpful people. Adjacent to you it'll be love and romance. Across from you, like right here behind me, this is fame. It's red, and fame and popularity. So we all have in every space there is the activation of that you know, whatever, however that space then activates a certain aspect of your life. Like there's children and playfulness, and that activates creativity.
Okay.
Your finances. So I then try my best to create that harmonic space with, you know, color, placement of objects, elements.
Yeah. What about people like me? I'm a vagabond. You know, I always change
Move.
places. I go here, then I go here, then I go there. I have no.
It doesn't matter. You can still create harmony in your space, by the way, and then you probably live very minimal, which is even better.
Yeah, I'm more simple. I like having a nice place, you know, and but since I don't still have a family, or you know, where
Yeah.
I call a home, I'm free. You know, I can go there, I can do this, so I have
Yeah, of
no
course.
obligation, you know. But
You can still create harmony in your space with placing
okay,
it, and if anything, you can charge it with a bagua. You'd be surprised.
okay,
It's just about intention. It's
yeah,
intending.
yeah,
This is to activate that.
yeah.
Because
But
I need help with people right now. I need someone to help me with this, and then you will activate that corner.
okay. But I feel more, you know, like you said, like you feel more connected in nature. When I'm like, for example, in Greece on the sea, you know, I'm on the beach. I feel like, wow, that's my place. That's where I need to be, you know.
Yeah,
So
but you're Greek, yes?
yeah, my father is Greek and my mother is Peruvian. So
Yeah.
exactly, I'm often,
Um,
quite often in Greece. Yeah.
yeah, Greek. It's funny. Wherever you feel more at home is probably, I would say, I. It's like pay attention. Again, it's about being in tune. What someone asked earlier about how do you turn up the dial, right? About activating information.
Mm-hmm.
The more you are aware of what feels good in your life and what makes you feel good, and what, if you pay attention to that,
Yeah.
you will be more than energetically aligned.
Yeah.
Okay, the more energetically you're aligned, you will then be more open to receive. You will then draw in things that you desire,
Yeah.
right? Abraham
Yeah. Yeah.
talks about that. You feel better, and then in
Mhm.
feeling better, your vibration reaches a certain level. You align with that desire, and then when you align with that desire, it materializes in your space, in your
Mhm.
life,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So you have to feel. That's why when we say about manifesting, feel it. It's not just thinking it. Like I desire, for example, my dream would be to live on the water, on the ocean, like beautiful. I want to open my eyes and see the ocean, and I want to be able to walk downstairs and have my coffee on the beach. Like that would be my thing.
Okay.
So I would smell it. I will hear it. I will. What does that feel like? So you hear the ocean waves. How does the ocean smell? So take your mind to that place. Is how you then manifest.
Yeah.
If you want to
It's like
manifest a
because
partner, how would it feel?
yeah.
You know, to have a partner.
Mhm. Because the subconscious mind actually cannot differentiate between what is real and what is, you know, like fiction. So when you try to visualize and get all of these feelings, then the subconscious mind will accept it as it is, you know, as what you think or what you feel will be aligned or will be, you know, drawn to you.
It's
So
like if you say to yourself, I want, you know, a red Ferrari. All you're going to see all day are red Ferraris. You're
true.
going to see red Ferraris everywhere. You're going to be like, what the hell? I never knew there were so many Ferraris in my neighborhood. That's just
Yeah.
how it is. You're going to
Yeah.
notice, you know, you'll be like, I would love to have whatever. And then you're just going to keep, you know, you're going to be you're going to start aligning to that place of, okay, that's all you're going to see. That's all you're going to hear. That's going to be presented. It will start dominating your
Exactly.
environment.
And from the other side, if you don't know what you want, then you cannot attract it. So the best thing is to write down what you want, first of all. What do
Mm-hmm.
you really want? Because, you know,
Yeah.
lots of stuff is materialistic, but what does it brings you fulfillment, you know, what
Yes, like and again, that's about knowing yourself. And in this kundalini awakening and in the whole awakening process, it that's what it's doing. It's essentially bringing you back to you.
Yeah.
And if you fight it, like it's just, it's difficult because you may have to completely change your life. I had to completely change my life. So the more out of alignment you are with living your truth, the more changes you're probably going to have to make. The more in alignment you are with having lived your truth, even after your awakening, it might not be so drastic. What I've noticed is it tends to be more drastic for most. But like a man like you, you're, like you said, you're single, like you don't have a family. You didn't have to, like, you just started to envision your life in a different way. Maybe you changed your work. Maybe you changed your work pattern. You changed your friends, right?
Yeah.
Or how you
exactly
behave.
The thing is, I knew from since I was very young that I always wanted to be my own boss. I don't know why, because you know I wanted to be free. So I always thought of ways how to do that. But it took me a lot of time and realization, you know, to overcome this limiting beliefs I had, because that plays also a major role. What beliefs do you have? You know, what limiting beliefs do you have from childhood, which you are taking with you, which you have to get rid of instead of, you know, so you can move on. So that's a very important aspect. The limiting beliefs you have
Yeah.
are blocking you from fulfilling this, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So I got an interesting question. What about the 369 method from Tesla? That's a good question. Yeah, that's a
Interesting.
good
Well,
method actually.
everything in the universe is 369, right? Again, it goes back to the Fibonacci balance.
Yeah.
It's sacred geometry. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about sacred geometry, but I am going to say that pay attention to numbers and patterns that come in your space. There are messages in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I believe it. Okay, so there are. It's funny. Years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I had my chart done by a numerologist, and not just any numerologist. You got to find like a really master numerologist, because all of the information of the universe is in numbers, because the universe is infinite and so are numbers.
Yeah.
So actually, it's interesting. Maybe I can find her and share, because she was amazing. Amazing. You know,
Okay.
ultimately, you know, when you love what you do, you master it, right? She was one of those.
Yeah.
And so it's important to know, and that's part of knowing ourselves, like to remain in alignment. Like my life path number is a 4. What's your life
Really?
path number?
The same.
Yeah. You're a 4 too? Yeah. It's so important to
Yes.
know your life path number.
Yeah.
And guys, if you don't know what that is,
You
it's
can count the birthday together, the numbers. Like
you
my
reduce all the numbers down to 1 digit.
exact. Like for me, for example, I'm 15 of May 1982. So you count 1 plus 5 plus 5 for May, then plus 1 for 1982,
Yeah,
plus
plus
9
9
plus
plus.
8 plus 2 blah blah. And
So
then
you're
you
also a
get
4.
like, I don't know, for me I got like, I don't remember. Anyway,
And
and
then
then
it
it has to
reduces to
be
4.
a number between 1 and 11, I think, no? Has to come up.
9. 1 and 9.
Or 9.
9 is
Yes.
completion, and then you start the cycle over. But I'm a master number 22. So
Okay.
it tends to be that master numbers like 11, 22, 33, those are also the gradations. And so being a master number, it makes all the sense in the world why I'm an intuitive, because I have a purpose here. I'm supposed to help raise the vibration of the universe, but that's a whole other calculation. But my life path number is a 4. So I'm on number 4. And the 4 is
That's
based on
why
we're like,
that's why
we aligned.
we
So
align.
number 4 numbers, for example, were all about like order. You want something done, you ask a number 4. We're very much on focus, disciplined, about foundation. Everything has to be solid. We tend to be perfectionists. Yeah, it's like you build a building on 4 pillars, right?
Exactly.
That's
Sometimes too much of perfectionism. You know, like
Yeah,
I'm
well,
too
we're
much of
learning.
that. So.
I know, but I can't help it. It's just who we are.
But you know, at the end of the day, even this 369 method, it's all about energy.
Yeah.
It's about how do you, you know, like take this energy and make it work for you. That's why, because Dolores Cannon said, you're here to manipulate energy at the end of the day. You know?
Transmute
So,
energy. You mentioned that the other day
yeah.
about subconsciously and consciously transmuting energy, and we had that example. You said how you were tired before we met, but now you feel
Yep.
better. And you
Exactly.
asked me, because I said I transmute energy. I heal. I'm a healer. So
Yep.
that's me subconsciously healing you. But then consciously, I can also do something because I want to. That's the difference about being aware. You know, I don't have to be aware of my energy will then help heal, right? Whoever I'm around, because that's my purpose. I'm a healer.
Okay.
I don't think about that. That just happens because I'm in alignment. I exude, and I'm also a twin flame. That's part of the path. And my twin flame on the opposite side of the world, he is doing, him being in other people's presence, he's healing without doing anything, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole other thing about twin flames too, but it's mostly just the more aligned we are, just the focus is, number one, focus on your alignment. Live in your authentic truth, and your life will shift immensely.
Okay.
Whether, like you said, gradual like you, or you know, crazily like me.
Yeah. I mean, we all have our own path, you know, we all have our own mission to fulfill here. So we all take it differently, you know, like for me, maybe it would have been, if it would have been like you have gone through, intense, then maybe it would have been too much for me. So it's all different, and you know,
Possibly.
we all
Trust
go.
me, it was too much for me too. But I did it. You don't have a choice. And maybe we don't have a choice. Maybe it's, we're destined to have it a certain way. We just don't know.
Exactly.
But I feel like our children are coming in differently. Our children are coming in energetically at a different frequency and vibration. My daughter is not going to go through what I went through. She's already vibrating at a different frequency. She's already living in her authentic truth. You know?
Yeah. I mean, because the children from today are, you know, they have other bodies also, no? They're very, how you call that? You know, they have a light body. They're more
the light
connected.
body. Their light body is different. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They vibrate at a different frequency. There's rainbow children, and they're just different. They're not going to be dealing. She's already super intuitive.
Yeah.
She doesn't need an awakening. She came in with that energy.
That's what Dolores Cannon also mentioned, you know, from the how you call that, the different stages of star seeds also, no? Which are
the evolution.
born.
Exactly.
Like there are the indigo child, for example, indigo children. I'm not sure if I'm one of them, because you know they said it's in the 80s, then in the 70s, and the 90s.
But that's again being boxed. I'm not into this boxing thing.
You
know, we all have our own path. We all have our own way. You just have to be aware of who you are, and however, you know, that's just society trying to create, because that's how it becomes palpable. The information becomes palpable because that's how we're raised. We go to school. You're in the first grade. You're in this class. There's 2 first grade classes. You're in blue and you're in green. You're in 1 and you're in 2. You know what I mean? And fulfilling that box makes it more easy for people to digest. But like, I don't see it that way. It's just the information needs to be categorized. And so, you know, these are indigo kids. I don't know.
No, I just mentioned that because, you know, like, I'm not gonna categorize myself for this or that.
No.
I know, like for me, I'm here to fulfill a mission, or a
A
purpose.
purpose.
So it doesn't matter what I am at the end of the day. So
No, exactly. That's why that other day when you asked me, like, what do you want to be called? And I'm like, I have no clue. Like, I don't know. These are the things I do. These are the things
yeah,
I know. There's still a lot more I don't know. I'm learning every day. And every time I'm supposed to learn something new, I have a new teacher that comes my way.
yeah,
Literally, like,
yeah.
and I'm so
That's
grateful. I have fantastic, like Professor Sashi. I went to India with him.
wow.
And then through him, I met Nate Batoon, who was my feng shui master. And then I had
Okay.
intuitive teachers that I've met. My first one being Gail. Then I met Jennifer. Then I had another. Like some stay longer, some stay shorter. Some, you know what I mean. Some are always have never gone away.
Hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask you, when you mentioned, when you said that you were in the hotel and you felt there was a connection,
Oh,
to the other.
that
How is
story.
it? Are there, because these stories with the Bermuda Triangle and all of that? Are there different spots where you have
Oh,
access to that?
vortex points, absolutely. But I believe that was, that was just a gateway or vortex point. So it's at the Parker Hotel. When you go upstairs, first of all, I walked in and I smelled death. And
Really?
stagnant. Oh my God. I can't believe that hotel is even, that place needs a serious clearing, like no other. I don't want to talk badly about it because it's beautiful. So being an interior designer, Jonathan Adler designed it. So it was my birthday weekend. This was like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I went with my best friend Allison
Hmm.
just for the weekend. I'm like, you know what? And I love going away for my birthday. I'm not really big on parties. So I've always planned vacations or trips. So we go to the Parker. I'm all excited. This famous designer that I love designed this hotel.
Yeah.
I walk in immediately and I was like, because that's my intuition. I was like, oh, like what? And this is a luxury hotel. Okay, this is not your average hotel. And I went, okay, whatever. I ignored it. I checked in. I went up the stairs. So it's an older hotel that's been redone. So in the lobby, there's like a staircase that literally to the left, and then you cross over this bridge. And my room was down that main hall. I was in the main hall in the main building.
Okay.
As soon as I walked like 5 feet down the hall, I stopped. And my best friend, she's like, what? Like, and it's an empty hall. She's like, what? Like, why'd you stop? And I said, there's hundreds of people talking to me right now.
Wow.
I said, they're touching me everywhere. Like, they were just like touching me everywhere. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps remembering. I was so upset. And I'm like, they won't stop touching me. And they're like all talking in my ear. Like, they wouldn't stop talking. Like, and I literally was, and I looked to my left, behind me, it was just my friend. And I looked down the hall and I said, I'm going to have to tell them something. I said, please don't think I'm crazy. And she's like, no, I mean, she's my best friend. She knows.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I have to tell them to leave me alone because they're going to be here I'm going to be here all weekend and they're touching me and they won't stop talking.
Yeah.
So I literally had to announce, I said, look, guys, I'm here for the weekend. This is my birthday. You have to leave me alone. On Sunday, you can all come to me one by one. And if you really have something that you need to share, I'm okay with it. But you cannot bother me all weekend. And all left but 3.
Okay.
3 followed me. They didn't leave me alone. When I got to the room, I announced it again. The 2 left. The 1 man stayed. He was with me all night. I was so uncomfortable that I had to check out the next day.
Okay.
He was next to me all night. He was talking to me. He was harassing me. He was very aggressive. He was so bothered that I was there. I think he's bothered that people are in the hotel.
Really?
And I literally woke up at 6:30 in the morning and my friend was up. She was, we're sleeping side by side. And I said, Allison, and she looked at me. She's like, you want to leave, don't you? I said, right now. I said, I can't do this. And I left the hotel. I will never, you can't pay me to stay there.
Yeah.
Because there are laws and I was being harassed. Like that's a psychic attack. Because there's laws and they need to abide by them. And he wouldn't leave me alone.
Mm. But you mentioned that they were also from the building, no, which collapsed in Miami.
Yeah, they came, but that was very temporary. That was in my room. I guess they found a passage and they came and they found me. And they were all very like, and it was so fresh that I could see more of them. I could see their figure more. I could see what clothes, like I could see the colors of their clothes even. That's what tripped me out, because usually I don't see colors or I don't pay attention. I'm more connected to their body and their essence. That's how I knew they had just passed, and that's when I made the correlation.
Yeah,
And they were kind of like frazzled.
Were they trying to? Were they trying to communicate with you? Like they're trying to tell you something?
They were communicating with each other, and then they realized that they can communicate with me, and they started communicating with me. But they were just so confused. And I said, "It's gonna be okay." I'm like, "But you guys have to go." I'm like, "There's nothing here. Like you can't stay here." And then they left.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. But it doesn't always happen.
Because I've seen many occasions where suddenly somebody disappeared and they never came back. Like maybe they were on a different, like on the spot at the wrong time, and they crossed this vortex, and they never came back to this time. They were there.
I don't know about that. I've never experienced. Oh my God, that would be a little crazy.
I heard that there are spots somewhere like on
well, when time
Earth.
folds, well, I can imagine if time folds and you kind of hit that little, like it's like a gateway. I guess you could slip to the other side and never make your way back.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of wild, but at the same time, there are no accidents.
I have here some questions. For example, do you think that your present self is a higher self to your inner child?
Present self is a higher self to my inner child. Well, my inner child and me are one. And my higher self is my higher self. I only have one higher self. So it's both, it's one and the same. So yeah.
But the higher self is actually yourself from the future.
But it's just your higher self, not the future. The past, there's no future. It's just one.
Yeah, I mean not the future, but the higher self is the.
But my inner child, for example, our inner child is not any separate from our higher selves. Our inner child is our inner child, but it's connected. Like we're one beingness, we're one soul, we're infinite. But I'm not splitting myself up into that beingness and this beingness. I'm one. I'm one.
Yeah. I mean, also like when you talk to your inner child, it's like you're talking to yourself, but just
exactly. You're tapping back into you.
Yeah.
Just in a different timeline.
Yeah. So I also have a question here. So your intuition could be your higher self. What is in the future? So your intuition could be your higher self.
In the future. But again, there's no past, future, present.
Yeah, exactly. Inner child. Yeah, inner child, self, higher self. No, they're not different times. They're all in the same.
It's all in the same.
There's no
That's what
past.
I'm saying. It's all the now. Like when we go, it's all in the now. Like this is it. So
that's
anytime that you do have a different experience, just know you just left and are in that place, but it's all the same.
Yes. That's why we are sometimes. That's why our mind is either in the past or in the future, but never here. Actually, that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, that's also the egoic mind. Like sometimes we think about the past and like things that went wrong in our lives, or how we're able. Let's say something went right and you want to recreate it, right?
Yeah.
And you're in the past and you're thinking, but that wisdom will come to you when you need it anyway. And again, that's why I keep going back to come back to yourself. Like, I feel like the more I overthink things, I ask for I'm always asking for all my wisdom to always be present with me from all my past lives, all my experiences, just come back to me. That's all I want to have access to is my wisdom, my inner wisdom.
Yeah.
And if we just ask for that, we have to ask for what we want. That's how the universe also works. The energy, it's like, pull it back into you. It's not anything outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
If we think about all the lives we've lived, and if we just tap into that wisdom on its own, you know?
Yeah. Actually,
So, wow.
whatever we need, we all have it inside of us, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
We just have to, how you call that? Get in touch with it, you know?
Yeah, we get distracted. We get distracted.
Yeah. We get distracted because of our ego, because of our, like, outer environment. Monkey mind, yeah. Instead of listening to, that's why what I always preach or say, instead of listening to your intuition, you know, like, whatever you hear outside, it's just an illusion. Your higher self, your intuition knows what's good for you, actually.
Your gut, it's like right here, between your heart and your gut. This is where all the answers you need are. Right here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then here, I ask the tarot, it makes it a little easy. Well, my clients do. It's kind of direct, but it's difficult. Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult to, you know, we are having a human experience. We are having a human experience. We're not always going to feel perfectly aligned. We're not always going to feel, I'm not a monk, at least not in this life. I'm not, I've thought about it many times, actually. Like, I can really just remove myself and live in isolation. I don't have a problem with that. I just don't know if I want it fully in this life. But I can very easily do that.
Yeah, the thing is also that I have a feeling, for me, that there's still something going to happen even bigger than what we are going through now. I don't know in which sense or whatever, but I feel like we either, because we are separated from the 5D and the 3D, so there's going to be a much more bigger even separation,
well, there's definitely evolution, right? We're evolving, we're growing. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it for a second. Well, because
I mean,
you're 6, 7, 8. I mean, it keeps going. It's infinite.
Yeah, and especially since we're empath, we feel that even more intensely.
Exactly. So, that's why that's where it's difficult for me when I see superficiality and I'm around it. It's so it feels so, I feel so separate from it. There's such a disconnect that I can't even, I'm like, whoa, like I can't even fathom that anymore.
Yeah.
My mind already, it's like, I don't even see it. I don't even, it's interesting.
And the other thing is, the more, like, you are awakened or you are awakened, the more you will also attract the like-minded people, like-minded souls.
Well, like attracts
like.
So
that's the most important aspect. So you're never alone. You're always surrounded by others who are on the same
tribe. You will find your tribe, and those that cannot be in your presence will remove themselves. You won't even have to make it this tragic thing that you end with people. They will just gradually just go away, and those that are supposed to be in your space will come near.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of
and the other thing is, like, when you always get asked, and I mentioned that also in our last conversation, what is your purpose here? Because everybody asks, what do you work? I don't define myself anymore. I used to, like, oh, I do real estate and all that. No, I come here to elevate the consciousness, to elevate the energy. Yeah. That's why I'm here. That's the mission, actually, for most of us.
It is the mission. It totally is. And for me, I've made it my work.
Yeah.
I couldn't, because I chose to. But we all have a different purpose.
Yeah. And when you are awakened, you will know what is your purpose. Because you are connected to the higher being, to exactly.
You'll just follow your path. So
Yeah.
like my daughter is a performer. She doesn't, nothing else is an option to her. Nothing. She's a dancer, a singer, an actress. That's it.
She knew from the
That's,
beginning that's
yep.
something
And
she's one.
that is her purpose. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, good for you. You know?
Yeah. Because I mean,
So
when you're not blocked like we were when we are younger, we were like blocked,
we were
going
programmed.
through. Yeah,
We were
program
programmed
actually. And
like
this,
robots.
yeah, and this generation is already aligned and moving forward.
Exactly. It's like they already know. It's like mission, you know, whereas we kind of did this, they already know, which, but again, we all had our different contracts.
Yeah, the only side effect I would say now going through all of that for the younger generation is that they're not so free to move because of these things we are going through now.
I know they
So
all, it's very sad. Yeah, like I grew up very fortunate. At a young age, I traveled quite a bit, and traveling
yeah,
is essential. It's quite essential in, you know, being informed about people, cultures, things, and I think that's part of it. And I believe Europeans travel more
mhm.
because everything's so condensed, and you can go to different countries within a certain area. For
Yeah,
example, you know, you can be in France, boom, you can be in Italy, boom, you can be in England, boom, you can be in Belgium, you can be, you know what I mean? Switzerland. But in America, we're like, it's a mass place. So a lot of Americans don't really leave the United States. And that's, and and what I'm getting is right now, and not to judge, because that's not my place, but having not traveled as much will then give you a limited perspective about how people really live in other countries.
yeah.
Because reading about it and watching it on TV is nothing like being submerged and visiting and walking their streets and experiencing how they really are
I
culturally,
mm.
you
I
know?
totally agree because like for me traveling is like opening my mind, my spirit. And I have friends
Absolutely.
everywhere. I am connected everywhere. Wherever I go, I feel home. I'm not, attracted to one place. I'm attracted to everywhere, and I
Right.
feel comfortable anywhere I go.
That's
I don't have
awesome.
any,
Yeah.
and
And
I really, I always tell people like don't get too much focused on, oh, if I go another country they don't talk the same language. No, wherever you go, you will always, you know,
you figure it out.
figure it out. You know,
Yeah, it's awesome. It's beautiful.
and
Yeah, and
I can
we'll see what
only
happens.
recommend. I can only recommend that, to travel and really see connect with
Absolutely.
new cultures, new people,
There,
connect with new
there
friends.
is no bigger gift you can ever give yourself than the gift of travel and experience. It's it's
Exactly.
it's wealth beyond measure. Wealth beyond
Yeah.
measure. Experiencing different people, different architecture, sights, smells,
Yeah.
sounds, all of it. It's like it's beautiful.
Yeah. I
And it
was.
is
I
kind of
was.
sad. Let's see
Yeah.
how long this. I don't know. I am concerned. Actually, it makes me a little
Mm.
sad to know that we will be. It looks like we are going to be restricted for a little bit
Do you
more.
think it will stay for a while like this? What is your opinion?
You know, I'm I'm not going to pretend to know because I'm a
Okay.
little concerned about what's happening on a political end.
Mm.
I am really concerned.
Yeah.
I try not to focus there because I don't
Okay.
want to put energy into what I find to be mass control and limiting. That's limiting. That's taking away inalienable rights.
Yeah.
And that's my main concern because as
Yeah.
humans, we're supposed to be free. And all of this tension with, racism and separation and all that, and it's essentially reiterating separation. And that's
Mm.
what I don't like that. So
Yeah, and since we are free souls, like for us, it's even more difficult to deal with that.
totally, like the fact that I have to think 10 times to go on holiday, whether something happens and I'm going to get stuck in Italy, like, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like being at war.
Yeah. But I mean, even Dolores Cannon mentioned that. She said that's what it will come like this. She said that.
She's amazing. I haven't really, if you don't mind, share that book with me, the title, maybe post it in this thing. I haven't read any of her books. I've watched a lot of her.
I highly recommend. They're like
recordings.
They're very good
Hours
books
and
out there.
hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. She's been writing many books. She has many books out. She has, she's one of the first, for those that don't know, Dolores Cannon was a hypnotherapist who came across understanding after thousands and thousands of hours of hypnotherapy, noticed that her clients, her patients were essentially talking about different timelines and different lives, and she started drawing association. And the one I remember, this is how wild it was, and I think after that we gotta wrap this. It's 11. We've been over an hour.
Oh, didn't even realize that. Okay.
I know. So I did this one meditation, and I think I mentioned it to you, and for the life of me, I never found it again on YouTube.
Okay.
She took me, I mean, this was just me sitting in my bed doing a meditation by her. She took me to another timeline. I was a different species on a different planet in the water with my counterpart.
Wow.
I was like an amphibian-like person, but I was like a little kind of like Avatar. You know the movie Avatar?
Yeah.
It was very much like Avatar.
Okay.
But not like, I remember everything like crystal clear. And that's a past life. It was a past life regression. And that's when I was like, whoa, who is this lady? Where did she just take me? What is happening? And this was early on in my, it was the first year of my awakening. Okay. I came across her. Wild.
Wow.
But yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend to read the Dolores Cannon books, because she actually was one of the first ones to do that, you know, to connect with your actually subconscious mind, which is actually your soul. And she was talking directly.
All the information is there. All the wisdom is there.
Yeah. And most of them, most of the subjects she, how you call that? You know, like interviewed, or I don't know how you call that, you know, like interacted. They said most of them the same thing. So there's no coincidence, you know.
That's what I'm saying. She started correlating like all these different, you know, patients of hers, clients of hers, all kind of having a similar, and you can't fake that. I mean, that's right. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So that's how she was onto something.
Yeah. If I can, I will post some books from her, or a link or whatever, so people can access them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I highly recommend her. And also the book you mentioned before, the Kundalini Rising.
Kundalini Rising. Yeah, that'll help a lot of people, I think. It clarified a lot for me. It was funny because I found it after everything happened, but it kind of made me feel like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, because you feel crazy. You do. Like, it's like facts are facts. I felt crazy. Because it's, you know, you feel like you're alone.
Yeah. And one book especially, which for me is one which opened my mind, and is which I highly recommend, is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And this book I read it like 20 times.
Okay, please. Okay.
So good.
We're going to have to share a list. We're going to have to share a list. All right.
It's so good. Yeah. Great. So then it was wonderful talking to you again. And
likewise. Lots of information.
Yes, definitely. I think people will need some time to
marinate.
You know, like marinate.
Yeah.
And
we'll do it again.
Thanks for being here with me. And
thank you for
we
having
stay in touch.
Me. This was lovely. Absolutely. All right.
So have a nice day, And here is the evening already.
Evening.
So
yeah, we'll be in touch.
We'll be in touch. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.